Okay, let's talk about teacher burnout. We've all seen the headlines, right? It's a crisis. But honestly, just talking about the problem gets, well, exhausting. So this time, we're flipping the script. We're not going to just stare at the problem. We're going to look at the blueprint for fixing it, the real concrete solutions that are already happening. So let's dive in.
And to really get why this is so urgent, you just have to look at this one number. Number 1. That's where K-12 teachers rank on the list of most burnt-out professions in the U.S. I mean, number 1, out of everyone. That's not just some dry statistic, you know? That's a massive alarm bell ringing for our entire education system.
So, burnout is a word we throw around a lot. But what does it actually mean in this context? Well, the National Education Association puts it perfectly. They say it's when a teacher has just exhausted everything. All their personal and professional resources are gone. Think about that. It's not just, oh, I had a tough week. It's way past that. It's your tank being completely, totally empty. All right, here's the plan. We'll quickly look at the crisis and figure out why teachers are heading for the exits. But then, and this is the important part, we're going to spend most of our time on the good stuff, fixing the system, looking at what's working on the ground, and figuring out what's next.
Okay, first up, let's get a real sense of the scale of this thing. Just how close to the breaking point are we?
Okay, check this out. It's one thing to say there's a problem, but the numbers here really tell the story. So, in most other industries, about 30% of people feel burnt out. For college professors, that bumps up to 35%. But then you look at K-12 teachers. Wow, it jumps to 44%. Nearly half. That's not just a little higher, it's a huge gap. This isn't just a general workplace thing. It's a crisis hitting our K-12 schools especially hard.
And this isn't just us on the outside looking in. What do teachers themselves think? Well, the answer is pretty clear. A full 90%, 9-0, of educators say burnout is a serious problem. And look at that. 2/3 of them call it very serious. So the folks on the front lines are screaming it from the rooftops. The system is at a breaking point.
So why? What's actually causing this? Let's dig into the root causes that are pushing so many amazing educators out the door.
Honestly, it's like a perfect storm of factors. You start with these massive, unsustainable workloads. Then you pile on critical staff shortages, which just makes the workload even heavier, right? And then there's the pay. It's not just about low compensation, it's the fact that teachers are literally paying out of pocket for supplies for their own classrooms. You add in a feeling of being disrespected, not getting enough training, and worrying about safety. And yeah, you've got a recipe for total burnout.
And the result of all that pressure? This number right here. Over 500,000. That's how many fewer educators we have in our public schools just since the pandemic started. Let that sink in for a second. 500,000. That is a massive, massive hole in our system that affects millions of kids every single day.
And this quote, this really gets to the heart of it. It's from the Center for Law and Social Policy. And they're basically saying, hey, we can't just put a Band-Aid on this. The system has historically relied on low-wage workers, particularly in early childhood education. We have to change that entire trajectory. So this is it. This is our pivot. We've seen the problem. Now let's talk about how to fix it for real. All right, time for the solutions. Let's get into the blueprint for change, starting with the big picture, systemic stuff that can build a stronger, fairer, and just plain better system for everyone.
So the key thing to get here is that there's no single silver bullet. It's a whole strategy. First, it starts with a serious, significant investment in early education, all programs. Second, you build on what already works, like the high standards we see in Head Start. From there, you get everyone working together, stakeholders, communities, you name it. And finally, you have to rethink what quality even means, making sure it actually addresses all the diversity in our classrooms.
Okay, so how do you support the teachers themselves? Directly? Well, it boils down to a few things. First, you got to pay them what they're worth and give them a clear path to advance in their careers. Next, you invest in their growth. Fund scholarships to get more diverse and multilingual staff in the door, and then provide really good ongoing training. And finally, you make the whole environment more just. That means fixing unfair discipline policies and also supporting those informal caregivers, the grandparents, the neighbors, who are so vital. That's how you show you value your educators.
Okay, so that's the big picture policy stuff. It sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like when you put it into practice? Let's zoom in and see how some local programs are already making this happen right now. Let's take a look at Texas, where you've got these two really cool complementary models. On one hand, you've got the TEACH program. It focuses right on the individual teacher, giving them scholarships, career help, even extra pay. Then, on the other hand, you have TXAEYC. They focus on the schools themselves, helping with things like employee benefits and business coaching. So you see, one supports the person, the other supports the place they work. Both are crucial.
And speaking of support, check this out. In San Antonio, the Region 20 ESC is giving teachers the exact kind of professional development they've been asking for. This isn't your standard, boring, one-and-done workshop. We're talking about ongoing, innovative training that's actually designed for the real challenges and the diverse students they see in their classrooms every day.
But, a huge part of supporting teachers is just respecting their time. Their schedules are absolutely insane. So how on earth are they supposed to find time for more training? Well, Alamo Colleges gets it. Their solution is simple: flexibility. They offer self-paced online courses. This means educators can keep learning and growing, but on their own terms, without adding more stress to their lives. It's such a simple but brilliant concept. Meet them where they are.
And sometimes the best support isn't a program at all. It's a person. It's mentorship. At Pre-K4SA, also in San Antonio, they have specialists who go into the classroom and provide one-on-one coaching. This isn't some lecture about theory. This is real, hands-on, let me help you with this right now kind of support. It builds confidence and helps teachers solve problems the moment they happen.
So we've seen the scale of the problem, but we've also seen some incredible solutions in action. The question is, what's the path forward? Where do we go from here?
If you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this. This is not a hopeless situation. Not even close. We've seen that real, working solutions already exist. They exist at the federal level, the state level, and all the way down to a single mentor in a single classroom. The blueprint is already there. We know how to do this.
So it all comes down to this one last, really important question. The solutions exist. We've seen them. We know what works. We have the roadmap. So the question isn't how anymore. The question is, are we finally ready to actually invest in them? To invest in our teachers, and by doing that, invest in our kids?